Welcome to the CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
This is episode 375, and we have more stuff that just kind of popped up. We had, this all planned, and then now we have this secret layer that's going to be on here we're going to talk about. You kind of moving your camera there.
I guess, yeah.
So what do we got going on for 375? We did just get back from Guys Weekend, so still recovering from that. So I am drinking Gatorade because, there was, how late did you stay up that first night? Did you stay up?
I stayed up until like 1.
Okay.
The first night.
Yeah.
And then the next night.
And then the
like
attack
bed.
of the gout got you the second night.
Yeah, my hands and feet were swollen. So it was time. I knew.
But yeah, it was okay. Well, first, what are we doing today? Just so people that are just tuning in can see what we're gonna do. What do we have in store for this episode?
Yeah, so they just announced a couple hours ago, Festival in a Box. They're doing that again a week after Secret Lair. So 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to be talking about the game changers that they announced that were kind of unbanned, and just kind of how they expanded the game changers list. And that happened 2 weeks ago.
For life.
And then we'll also do our tourney results for.
Oh, wait, what are we on now? We're getting to the semifinals, right?
Yeah.
Something like
16?
16. Sweet
Move
16.
on to the Sweet 16.
4, 8, 12, 16. Yes, that is it. Wait. Is that what it is? No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Is it?
64, 32, 16.
2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah.
8,
right.
4.
Yeah. I can add. And Tad's doing a little Urzus for life there. So yeah, we got get the fuck out. There you go, Larry. So we got that stuff going on. We'll do a little quick recap of our weekend. We had a guys weekend at my cabin up north. We had 9 of us up there. It was a good time. We had lots of laughs, lots of beverages being drank, and very late nights, and a lot of Commander games. How many games did you guys play when we went golfing on Saturday? You guys get a couple
Probably
games?
2 while you guys were gone.
Nice.
So, I mean, plenty of games, like you said. Decided I think I'm gonna kill about 4 decks after that, which is it was kind of what I was focusing on, was just playing my old decks and then just let them go a little bit, like just
let it go,
get it out of the system a little bit.
You played
some good games in.
Your feather deck did its thing like it normally does, and that's one.
Yeah, everybody kind of went, and I was like, okay, this is why I'm going to kill it. That's why.
That's a good point to kill that one. I mean, it's a good deck. It's just it was Lowry play it because I only caught it at the very end when you won. I went over and you were doing your turn and you're doing feather things, and then you say go, and then as soon as everything was like going to get destroyed or something was about to happen, where it was like a board wipe, and then you're like, in response to that, I win the game. You didn't realize that you had the win. Otherwise, you would have started it there. But I think
I just kind of kept on doing it, and then people started dying, and I didn't realize it. I was like, oh, I could definitely do this a couple more times. I had like Zada, Feather, a couple more creatures. I was drawing like 4 cards. And then I started like making treasures and other creatures, and it got pretty wild there.
Yeah.
And I had basically a gutter snipe and play,
going around doing
it was just slowly killing everybody.
How did you feel?
So
about
that was fun for me.
Not that deck. What was your favorite decks that you got to play? Like, you got to play a couple new ones, right? Or
no, I didn't play any new ones really. Right. I played Zerta. That's probably the newest one that I played, and I played Ketramos a little bit. They're both not really.
Oh yeah, I was in the Ketramos game with you on that.
It was slow. It felt like, how about that? Like Ketramos isn't as fun as I thought it would be. I'm gonna mess with it here, but it's not gonna die by any means.
Yeah. You got to do some tweaks, is what you got to do with that one.
And Zerta is definitely like fun, but lower power for sure. Like, it takes a lot of mana. It takes a lot of stuff going on, and it's a lot of random. So it's like, it's a lot of not amazing things going on, and so it's hard to win. To whereas like Mark can just pilot it and win with like 14 What are the
Did he play? Oh wait, he did.
Yeah, he made something like 12. What is it? The elk that you sacrifice to go get 2 basic lands
I
and
was
the play
in.
tapped.
Yeah, that's the burnished heart. Yeah,
Yeah, burnished heart. So he made like 14 of those.
Yeah.
Over time and was able to win that way, which that was never the plan.
That's funny.
So there's that.
Yeah, I spent the whole weekend losing, but I had fun losing. But the funny thing is I won my first game playing and I won my very last game playing of the weekend, and both of them
everything else.
But both of them were Feldar, like Felidar, whatever.
Felidar is really good.
Both of them are I played it. I think I played it 3 times, and even the third time when I didn't, or the middle one, I didn't win. It's still like it's hard to deal with, man, and it's not. It's
fast.
It's fast because you're playing cheap stuff that are walls that when you get it out, you can attack with them, so you can swing in for damage and all that. But then the other part of it is you're drawing a lot of cards, and so all I have to do is hit that psychosis crawler. That you were in that game, weren't you? When I made you, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I took your life. I think I don't remember what you were at, but that's how I killed the table. Is I exchanged your life with my Tree of Perdition, and then Lair is the Emperor Champion. Yep, that was.
I could have literally done nothing, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, and there was. I think didn't even have the. Yeah, you had your 2 cans in of edible drink at that point, so you were sitting pretty back there. But you had a lot going on. It's just Tad and frickin' Jeremy were going crazy.
They came out swinging, and it went fast.
Yeah, so it was some fun games. Got a lot of good games in. I realized, like you said, playing, and you were in this game too. When I played Croxa, I was like, this one is probably gonna have to die because it just and I got the ultimate combo with it with Lifeline being out. So every time it was coming back and going into the graveyard, and so you guys had no hand the entire once that went around.
I think if you want to keep that one around, because I agree, I think Alex was just like great, like you know what I mean. But I think you almost have to, if you're gonna keep playing,
remove Lifeline.
You ever go back, like you want your opponents to have some sort of graveyard interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they don't, then it's just kind of over. Then you kind of just win the game.
But I didn't.
Type thing.
You killed me. You killed me.
Yeah, 3-on-1 essentially, and we had no hands, and we were just top decking, playing a threat, and you were just like lose 3, lose 3, lose 3.
Yeah, it was.
We're down 12 or out of a hand in one round. Like it was good going.
The thing is what I realized is like it was more of like the. Not having a hand sucks, making it so people, if I do it once, like everybody lose their hand, whatever. But what it was doing was making it so that any draw you got, your turn draw, you needed to play that spell then, or you don't have it anymore. And so
it's half of a Jin Gataxias essentially. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, that is because I've never played it where I hit Lifeline. So, oh shit. Tad's starting it off. I didn't even tell what I guess we should gambling for
fetches.
He's just trying to take out Mr. Anderson, because he's going to donate more. So really quick, what Tad's doing there is we do have the raffles going. So we have the 5 fetches and retro etched foil right here. So once we hit that $150 mark, we will draw a name, and I got to write Tad's name down here in a second.
And take a shot
of Malort.
And then we will spin the wheel, and for every dollar spent, you get your name on it, and then wherever it lands, you win. We just do it 3 times randomly.
Yeah.
So, but people win. It's a real thing.
Thank you, Tad. We got 25 for that.
Not tonight, but
right. There's no way we're getting to that. I know, Tad, you won a lot of money gambling with stupid scratch offs and then electronic pull tabs and all that crap. Crazy.
I don't know how much he spent on gambling, but I know he walked away with like $950.
Yeah. The $750 was him and Alex split that.
Yeah, so I guess I split that. That's right.
Yeah, and then Tad did the 200 first, and then Alex was like, "I want in. Let's get the electronic pull tabs," and then they fucking won $750. So They had
gambling's bad. I wasn't paying attention.
This whole weekend paid for, and probably the month paid for whatever they want to do. So I mean, Tad's he's going with it right there. Okay, so that if you guys want to donate for that, it's not a donate. You're just entering to try to win the raffle, the fetch land. So it's the enemy fetch lands and foil etched retro, and then like Lau said, when we hit that 150, we'll take a Malort shot. Ugh. Stupid Malort, man. I mean, you get enough booze in me, and then I'm like, woo, Malort, let's do it. I think I only took one shot over the weekend, or maybe it might have been two.
I think you took one. Mark took two. There
yeah.
was only one
round of it. Okay.
And that's when I was like, really
I
was gone at
really
that point.
smiling.
Like, take a look. I was happy that I had the wherewithal to just be like, no, I am not doing that. This will likely get bad, because this was probably the first time I'd ever really like just sat down and drank a THC drink.
Yeah.
So I had two of them.
God damn it, Ted, get out of here. He's trying to get it. Ted, the problem is there isn't enough people on there to compete with you. So you're just going to basically buy these, except you're going to waste Anderson's $5 that he donated last week.
Right.
I appreciate it though.
But yeah, like it was definitely different. I just was kind of gouty, so I tried to avoid the beer. And I think that worked. I think that was kind of a good thing.
I'll tell you from
what's that?
I was gonna say, I'll tell you from experience, if you want to, maybe this is an off-air thing, but if you want to still have like beverages but not feel the whole high part of it, you can have like a beer or two, then do a THC, and then come back, and it almost just, or not come back. Then you can it'll just increase you'll feel more like you're buzzed drinking than high. It's kind of weird. For me, if I have
well, and that's what I was doing, so I don't know if I know
the other. I do what.
All right.
There's nobody out. Well, I guess there's getting to more people on there. Damn it! Now there's more.
Can we block him? Calm him down.
I'm still recovering from this weekekend, Tad. I
think that's why he's pushing the Malort.
You know, he wants the torch. We are over halfway to the Malort, the giveaway here. So
just, get somebody else in there, Tad. Come on, give somebody else a shot.
You're just saying that so you don't have to take the Malort. But yeah, so if you mix it, like if I'm drinking a little bit, have a couple beers, and then I have a THC drink, and when that hits, it feels like I'm just drinking, like more of a buzz from drinking, and then I can just switch over to like just regular whatever ice drinks, not even have booze or anything. But then every beer that I have after that, it just feels like I'm increasing. So it depends on the order. For me, at least, this is not for everybody, but like if I drink a THC drink first and then drink beer, it increases my high. But if I have beer first, or I have a buzz from the beer and do a THC, it makes me feel more drunk. You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever I was buzzing on first, it increases that feeling for me.
Interesting.
And I don't know if that's the same for everybody else. Tad said he's done.
Yeah, I don't know enough. I just know that I got like, once I kind of like hit that peak, I was glad that I only had like two, which were, I guess, 20 milligrams.
20 milligrams.
I wasn't really seeing that part, but. And then I'd start with a beer, have a THC, have a beer, THC, and then beer. And then that was about it. You have about 4 or 5 beers and you're kind of done, to whereas normally I could have like 12, you know what I mean? For as long as we're going, it's not like a super big brag. It's just a long day. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so by the end of it, you're either trashed or you're so tired that you're going to bed. And this one, I was like, hitting a good spot and just being like, you know what, I'm good, I'm done. I don't know if it's not going to be my new go-to. I still drink is pretty fun. So
you did get, when we were playing Secret Hitler, you did get very quiet in your corner, where normally you'd be very like talkative, blah blah blah. You were very much like in the zone. And the very first game, you were Hitler, which was kind of, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. And like when we won, because I was on your team, you didn't know we were on your team, as me, number 2, and Ryan, which Ryan was. So you were on the high side. Ryan was on the drunk side. He was on the very opposite sides of the spectrum here. You guys were very, but then he did not know what we were doing with that game, and it was the funniest thing ever. It made it so much fun. But then when we won, like if people don't know Secret Hitler never knows who the other people are on their team, but he just has to be voted chancellor once you get to a certain point. Lowry got there, and I was like, I don't even know if Lowry knows that he just won, but he goes, you did. You're like, I'm Hitler. It's like, fuck yeah, we won.
I wasn't 100% sure when I was supposed to say it, but there was like a gap in silence. I was like, okay, I think this is it.
This is it.
Like everybody that knew who I was kind of like, it got quiet. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm supposed to say this now. And because sometimes, if you're too early, you just gave yourself up. And they're like, oh, okay, well, let's get him.
Yeah,
he's wrong. At when the reveal was. So I mean, what other games were you guys playing? So that Secret Hitler, and then we Werewords, something that we've done in the past.
By that point, I was hammered at the end of that one. I was like, math. You guys don't know math, and I was just stupid at the end there.
That was pretty hard to do when I was high too.
Yeah.
Like it was just like. There's a lot going on and talking and just trying to get in there. It's like
by the time you want to ask your question, it already moved on because we did one word. We did that dice game. I don't know. Were you up? That was the second night. I don't think were you up at that point. I think you were gone.
I once Magic was done, I was in bed.
So we did some dice game where it was kind of cool. You rolled dice and then you drafted dice. I don't know. I liked it, but we only played that one once.
What was the name of that?
Ooh. I don't remember the name of that.
You're pretty drunk.
No, it was a number 2 game.
Okay.
So it was a newer one that I hadn't played before.
Cones of Dunshire?
No. Is that a joke? I don't get it.
It's Parks and Rec.
Oh, gotcha. But yeah, anyways, it was good times. I like our guys' weekend because we play a shit ton of Commander.
Yep.
And then every night it winds down, but not really winds down. It almost picks back up. Like we're burnt out of Commander for the night, and then
into something.
Oh, might have been. Oh, and I forgot to say, Collector and Vest said, everyone, 1 damage you take in Commander, you take a shot of whiskey. That's how you die.
You die. Not in Commander, in real life. That's death. We've told this story before, but drinking Magic is
it is a really bad idea.
Disastrous.
Yeah.
Because what we did was essentially
a sip of beer. Wasn't it?
Every point of damage that you take a drink of beer. That's what we were doing at that time. And any time that you gain life, you get to give out.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And so as people are gaining and losing life, and I think we were only playing 20 point. It was 60 card casual at that point. It was going way more than just 20. Like I think 10 drinks was a beer, and so you're having 2 drinks in a game. And if anybody was handing stuff out, then it was going to be more. Like it was. We were drunk. It was just like, I think we got done with 2 games and it was like, we need a ham sandwich.
Yeah, that was really ham. Was that Grant that said that, or was that you that said that? Yeah, it was your brother.
He doesn't
Grant.
like beer or Magic at that time.
He's like, I just need a ham sandwich. But yeah. So the cool thing about the guys' weekend stuff is that it's Commander until we basically play all day. We get there on Friday. We play as soon as we get there until roughly 11. Sometimes midnight, and then we play other games that are kind of group games and stuff. And then the next day, people do some stuff. We went golfing and all that, and then a lot of it is just Commander all day until about the same time that day. Normally, the second day is a little more tame that night, as everybody's hungover from the night before. So, how many people? The crazy
We're
thing
all
is
professionals, I think.
Yeah, well, I'd say it was an earlier bedtime the first night because, we all, people working or just the whole day of driving and all that. I wasn't one of the, Mark and I stayed up till 3 a.m. just talking after everybody went to bed. But the second night, everybody stayed up until 3 a.m. playing games. And then Mark, myself, and Alex stayed up and played So Clover until 4 a.m. So, yeah, I'm still feeling it today. So that's
cool. I'm getting old enough that I can't just stay up that late. So I went to bed at 12:30 the second night.
Yeah, you were just hurt,
but I had the swelling going on.
Yeah, you were hurt.
I think I blame it on that lasagna.
It was not the beers. You thought you lost me there for a second?
No, everything bogged down. We can keep going.
Gotcha. All right. All right, let's get started on this because we are 20 minutes in. We're going to get to the secret layer really quick. Really quick before we do this, I'm just going to do tags. I'm going to do quick ones. We already talked about the raffle, so that's there. The best way to support us is you've clicked this video to watch this video, or you're click this to listen to it if you're listening that way. The best way and the free way for you guys is just subscribe and hit the like button. Jump on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. That helps us out. I mean, you've already done all this work to watch this, so just do that right there. That's the best thing you can do for us. If you want to financially support us, and if you want to be like, this is our Twitter basically, is Discord. $1 gets you into the Discord. $5 or more can get you proxies. I forgot to post proxies today because I'm still recuperating from the weekend. I do have a new set of proxies. One of them is this little guy right here. It is the enduring, what is it? Endurance of Vitality? No, what are they called? They're Enduring of Vitality. Is that what that one is? I have it covered with his ear. So yes, Enduring Vitality. There we go. And it's a little baby deer right there. I think I'm going to do a little bit different with this one. I mean, this one's going to be out, but I think I'm going to do a Disney animal ones and do the full set of them from that set. So these will be coming up. But that's one of the patron perks that is out there. So if you become a patron, you can get proxies each month if you so choose. The other way you guys can support us is check out our store. It's linked below. It's on my eBay. You can get these Yeti mugs here. We have metal tokens and all that stuff on there. I think that's about the only other way. So then if you want to get in contact with us, jump on the Discord. If you're not a part of Discord, you can email us at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. Is there another way that they can support us? I don't know. Just YouTube. Just that's all the stuff there.
Yeah,
tell your friends. Tell your family. That's how you do it. All right. Let's get to we're going to be doing some secret layer stuff here. We're going to hit up the secret layer really quick. And this is just, and I'll hit this. This just, I happened to see it when I was going through my email before we got on the air here. And so we have a festival in the box coming in a couple weeks, like Lair mentioned earlier. So a day before my birthday on May 19th, we have another festival in a box, Las Vegas. I don't know a price yet. I didn't see it listed anywhere, and I tried to Google search it. But if we're going off of the last one we had a little bit ago, that one was $200. The one in the early fall was $250, but that one had collector booster packs with it and a lot more cards. So I'm guessing this one's going to be at that $200 range. So, but Larry, why don't we go through some of the cards? I know they're really small here. If I shrink it, we're going to lose that. You can't see the stuff on the side here. So,
so you kind of have Secret Lair, Slay the Day, 4 cards. You have Mirren, the elf legend that gets +1/+1 whenever you have an elf come into play, and it taps for its power for green mana. Then you have Lisa, the one that kind of brings creatures back. I believe it was that one, or is it the one that they lose life?
Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life.
Okay, that's that one.
Yeah.
And then you have Oloro, Ageless Ascetic. That's a great reprint right there. That's your money card.
Yep.
And then you also have, it's slipping my mind.
Sithis Harvest's Hand.
Sithis, the one that draws you cards whenever you cast an enchantment spell. I mean, they're all pretty solid. The Lisa one's whatever, but the art is fantastic. Oh, yeah. I really like that art.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got 3 others, and they separate them in a weird.
2 others. Come on.
Well, but you know,
the buffet of promos. You get an Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, which is awesome. Old frame.
Look at that. Oh, wait. Let's see if I can get that better. So I like what they're doing here, and I don't know if they've been doing this for a while. Because remember when they were doing these retro Planeswalkers? They just wrote it all out. They're at least, let me zoom in just so you can see that.
It was brutal.
They are at least putting here's +2, and then there's a line with it. So they're separating with paragraphs. I like that so much better than just a jumble of words, because it was just way too much. So I really dig what they did with this.
I think they took it a little too far in at least their original one, as in this is what we would have done in 1995.
Right.
And then it's like, well, there's a reason why you didn't do it in 1995, and maybe you should keep that in mind.
Right.
Keep it a little cleaner. And then Sliverhive.
Yeah.
Which you just admitted
I don't have
Discord that you don't have this.
Yeah. So I definitely.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. And it's We had the secret layer. It was one of the bonus cards in there, like the where they're doing the sliver, all that stuff.
Yeah. But that was that's like $100, $200.
Yeah,
card.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. That one was really rare to get that one. So, but I like this retro border to it and everything with that. And I like the lands when they're in the retro. And then what about the awesome card that's right here, Lowry?
Yeah. What about it?
It's all you can eat buffet.
Play test card. We don't. Oh Jesus.
I mean, it could be a legit card. I mean, it's actually not that good of a card because it's like you look at the top card of your library anytime. You can play lands and cast creatures from the top of your library. We have cards like that. And then it's just the top card of your library is a food token. It's still a card, which I don't get it. Like
that's the part that doesn't make sense.
Right, because it's like you can't do anything with it. It's just knowing that there's a food thing there. So I don't get it. But yeah. Okay, so let's take this all into account. Then
you also get the box.
Yeah, you get the box. So
Mystery Booster 2.
Let's go through some of this stuff because I did have to go through this.
Why is the Urza there? Is that just like
they
a promo
always
of
do
a card
that?
you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
get?
No, it's just what's in the box. They want to be like, oh, you can get these cool future sight
because you
borders.
could get that last time, right?
Right.
Urza?
Yep. It was always
that was a giveaway, but not on.
Not it'd be no. You could get him, but he's in the packs. You know what I'm saying? They're advertising what.
This was a promo last time. That was within the 5 that they were giving out.
No, it wasn't. It was I got it right here.
Foil of it.
No, it was Ponder. Hang on. Let's see. So it was Ponder, Second City, Sarah the Benevolent, the First Sliver, Muldrifter, Forgotten Ancient, Benevolent Hydra, and All Will Be One. Oh, and Animar. The first time around. Hang on. I know I have that one too. Vessel in a box. We had Rhea, Orvar. So we had all those those chubby, whatever, big eye.
Okay. It's probably the Ponder that I'm thinking.
There's Ponder, Swords, Morrow, place test card, Planes, and that was it for the first time around.
Okay.
So, but they always advertise that he's in the box. like you can get him. So, okay. So all that being said, let's back this up. When they first did this, I estimated that the mystery booster boxes were going to be like $150 to $200. Well, they went way higher than that because this is the only way you can get them is from these. You can't, they're not distributing them to the stores. So the price actually went up to like $350, $400, some of them. So it's just insane. Second time around, I upped what the average price was compared to what everything was. I said $250 to $300. I sold out of mine over $300 on those. Now our prices are at $250. So I think the prices of these are going to drop a little bit. I think these are going to be between the $200 and $250 range. So I think it's still going to be up there. It's going to be more than what this is probably going to cost you to get. But it's not going to be as high as they have been. So they have come down quite a bit. When we talk about the cards themselves, like Lowry said, Aloro is probably one of the better ones, but also Ugin and the Sliver Hive are, $40 cards, $20 to $40. I mean, you do have cheaper versions, but you have 3 cards that are potentially $30+ cards in this that gets you to a value just in the cards between 125 and 165. So when you add that all together, you're about 325 to 350 with all this. So value wise, it's there. If this is $200 and you don't care about the mystery boxes, buy it and sell the mystery.
Buy it, sell the mystery box.
That's what I did. Yep.
And you got the cards for free.
Yep. And that's what I did with the other ones because I haven't been opening boxes lately. I've been more focused on getting singles and buying stuff for what I want in my decks and whatever. So I let other people open that stuff up. So do I think this one's a good buy? Yeah, I do. If it's at 200, if they up it to 250 with the cards that are there, I mean, the value's still there, but that's a little tougher. I don't know if they're going to do it. We've been seeing them up prices. Oh, my dang light is flashing back there. They've been upping prices on everything lately, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go, all right, we're going to put this at 250. But what do you think with the values that I said there? I'm going to change my light quick.
I mean, I think if you enjoy the mystery boxes and cracking those, this is a good opportunity to get those or do a draft with your friends. Dropping $200 $250 isn't nothing. So if you feel like questionable, like for me, all of these have been questionable, and I have not gotten one yet. And I likely won't get this either. Very much like what you're dealing with, Adam. Like, I just don't crack the boxes. I don't. They're all reprints. I have a ton of these.
Oh, good.
Is it worth it?
Dang it, I was on the wrong buttons. I heard it. Is it worth it?
Oh,
there we go. That's
there we go. Yeah. So, like, if you're looking for a good draft experience, I think these are a really good thing to get, especially if you got friends like more than I do. And
wah. Do I have my where?
But I mean, I like the kick-ins. I like Ugin. I like Sliver Hive. Like, they're good cards. I like Aloro. I like that Secret Lair. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend $250.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I'm not spending $150 in a box on any set that's coming out. Like, so I'm not real likely to just drop a couple $100.
Especially since
I'm not going to sell the box. That's my problem.
Right.
If I sold the box, it'd be a lot easier.
I was going to say that's the difference is, I mean, you could do it. I'm your dealer for selling.
It's true.
But then, yeah, it's like, then whatever. You're personally not going to be selling that. So yeah, I get it.
Right.
But yeah, I think the value is there. With the cards, I do have to say this, and I had to say that on the other videos, is the prices will drop on these cards. If you want to pick them up as singles, you're probably going to be able to get them cheap as people get these in their hands. But the prices will come back up to the number I gave it. Because like I said, Animar, I sold out of Animar before I even got the last one.
Okay.
And I had Animar estimated at about $40. Man, you could pick up Animar for under $10 once everybody got that in hand. I don't know if it's starting to come back up yet, but like I said, the time
if you sold out, what's the point of checking?
Right.
Like, you're good.
But 10 to 16 months it normally takes to come back. So if you just want to pick off singles later, just pick off singles. That's actually what I've been doing with Deadpool lately. Is Deadpool's super cheap, so I've been picking up Vandal Blast for like $2 or $3. I've been picking up Blasphemous Act for $2 or $3 on some of my spec stuff. Like, I bought that, but now I'm picking up stuff that's really cheap, and so that
for sure,
that is a way to do that, especially with these drops here. So we don't need to break this down much more on that. So let's move on to our main topic here. All right, so I know this is old news, but it isn't really. We've had some time to deal with this, but we have the Commander banned and restricted announcement that was on April 22nd, where we got a whole bunch of news. We knew this was coming. We knew we were going to get some unbans. The episode right before this happened, we did the episode thinking or guessing which ones we thought would make the game changer, might move to the game changer list, and what cards might get unbanned. We were right on a few things. Well, both of us here, actually. Let's talk about the cards here. We first off have, why don't you read what we got going here?
Yeah, so some cards that came off the ban list. We have 5 of them. Gifts Ungiven was unbanned and moved. All of these are moved to game changer status.
Yep.
And Gifts Ungiven, you have Sway of the Stars, which was a big, I think everybody
that was
could
the
agree
one
that one came off, but it starts a little mini game essentially at 10 mana in blue.
Yeah.
You have Braids, which I'm surprised it came off.
I think that's the most
Cabal
controversial.
Minion, which is basically every upkeep somebody sacrifices a permanent. That's a big griefer card.
Yeah.
And Coalition Victory, which I think everybody's cool with coming off the ban list.
That was the one that you picked that you thought would be unbanned. When we both had to pick one, you said Coalition and I said Sway of the Stars or Biorhythm. I don't remember which one I said, but one of the two.
I think you said Sway.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then the surprisiest one would be Panoptic Mirror.
Because you could just put it like a extra turn spell and that just continuously have extra turns because it's the beginning of your upkeep, right? Yeah. I don't even have this card because
I didn't either. I never expected it to come off the ban list. And right now, I think it's sitting around $40-$50.
Yeah. Where do you?
I'd like it to come down. If they start like reprinting it, I'll go after it. But I'm not going to spend $40-$50 on it.
How do you feel about these 5 cards? So we have them unbanned. We didn't see any of these cards in all our games over the weekend. No one's put these in their decks.
Oh yeah, I don't think anybody's
I have
switched
not
it up that much.
Adjusted any of my decks to get this stuff, but we had mentioned Gifts Ungiven when we did that episode as well. So I'm fine with gifts. I'm fine with sway. I'm fine with coalition victory. It's braids and the mirror. I can see where that can be a problem, but braids really just seems odd,
unnecessary.
But
like, I think it's going to be self-regulated because it's not a fun card. Kind of like what we were talking about. Like, Feather in our play group is just kind of miserable, and I haven't probably played it in 3 years, and it was the same experience as I had the last time, and it's still just kind of like, or Croxa, like, it's just like, this isn't for what we're doing, so it's time to be done with it.
Right.
And I think Braids is going to do that really quick in a lot of self-contained groups. I could just see it being a problem in the LGS, and so I mean, if I were playing, maybe we use it as an example within the discussion of where we're going when we're talking about the game changer list.
Okay. Well,
so,
what I was
beyond this, I'm
what I was going to say with this part, you're done with the
yeah.
So I guess with braids, for me is if I see somebody as their commander, like there's no way that you're having this deck be anything but what it's supposed. You know what I'm saying? Like this could be.
Right.
You're trying to get it out as soon as possible so you can lock down everybody. And it's like, well, then I don't. If I went to an LGS and I sat down and they're playing this, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to go to a different table, or I'm going to find a different group.
Right.
Or I'll let you start it.
It feels like a Turgrid without a win con.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the win con is this is the only creature out there, so let's just kill one person at a time because they can't.
It's not a win con to take 20 turns to kill somebody.
Right. Exactly.
You got 2 more to do. Like, I just it's incredibly slow. So I find it's gonna be annoying.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So what do you want to get into next? We got the unbanned stuff.
The game changers that were added to the list.
Okay. That one, I believe. Where did I put that? Is it in here? I had to zoom in on a bunch.
That's all of them. Yeah. But it just
okay. There we go. Well, let's just do it so we can do it like this.
That's
we can go one at a time there. Let me zoom in a little bit.
They added a bunch. Probably it feels like they doubled.
They did 18.
The game changer list. It might be a little bit smaller than doubling, but they added Fierce Protection, which is the best protection spell. Do we want to talk about it individually as we're going?
I think so.
How do you feel about this one?
I think I don't. We talked about this when we were talking about the game changers. We said maybe this could get added, but it doesn't make sense to add it because it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily win you the game. We did have a discussion in the Discord. A lot of times it is throwing somebody off, like you're about to kill them and whatever. But it isn't like Cyclonic Rift where typically that person wins the game. Like Teferi's Protection is like, oh, you're hitting my shit, boom, I'm gone. Or you're coming out at me, boom, I'm gone. The only thing I would say is, and then RoboCop said they're adding too much game. Yeah. So we're going to get to that because
we'll get
just
to that,
a foreshadowing. I think how much they're adding puts basically all my decks into tier 4 or bracket 4. So that we'll get to that in a little bit, but that's what I think is happening at this point. We are now getting bracket 4 is now power level 7. It's the same thing.
Which is a problem.
Right.
But okay, let's move on. Humility, which I can totally agree with. It has some stacking problems as well, as in like it's one of the few major cards that deals with when was the card played and how do things like layer on top of it. It deals a lot in layers, even though it seems very simple.
Right.
And I think it can create a lot of confusion along with just being a really good card.
Yeah.
Although I
can
also see not doing it.
I've only seen it played, like, besides Jake playing it, I think one other person I've seen play this when we were, and it's just not a fun card. This one we kind of thought was on the potential to be on the game.
Narset, part of Veils. You can only draw 1 card per turn.
Let's also bring up, because it's kind of in the same line, especially how they announced it, but Bowmasters was also along the same lines, and
Orcish Bowmasters,
Notion
and
Thief.
The Notion Thief.
So all so it's all
you know what? I think all 3 of them are probably appropriate there. Notion Thief really just, we don't see it a lot. Maybe it's out there a lot more than we know.
But
I can see it being a problem when you're attacking somebody's drawing.
Well, we talked about why wasn't this banned when
Leovold.
No, and
Hull Breacher.
Yeah, when Hull Breacher got banned, but what we had decided was, well, it's a little bit more mana and it's 2 colors was the reason why we're like, I guess that's why that one didn't get banned. But it's still pretty oppressive with that, with the drawing stuff when you're messing with, wheel effects and all that stuff. So we kind of saw the Narset come in. That was one of the ones we mentioned. So not surprised there. Intuition is the next one. So
Intuition is one that we compared to on Gifts Ungiven. There we go.
Yeah.
They're very similar cards. They should both be. It was like if one's banned, the other should be banned, and if they're not, they're both really good. That's okay to be really good. I think it's perfect on the game changer list.
Consecrated Sphinx was a head scratcher a little bit there, but I mean it is really good. But it's like, why does it get to the game changer? I know
it was on my list, but I didn't
was it?
do it. Yeah, on my list of like 15 out of the 5 that we were talking about.
Yeah,
so it was there. It just feels like an old card.
Yeah.
Like when it does come down, though, it feels very much like Void Winnower, like I was talking about.
God,
you know, it's kind of in that section of it comes down,
that card
and people
sucks.
just go, "Holy shit! If we don't deal with this, it's gonna be backbreaking."
Yep. So yeah, I get it, but like you said, it's an old card. It felt like the big bad monster 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago when we played it all the time. But it doesn't make it in my decks unless it's a specific for draw and all that stuff. Necropotence, this one
makes a ton of sense to me.
One we talked about before, so that one we made sense. Notion Thief, we already did that. Deflecting SWAT, I don't like Deflecting SWAT on this list.
I agree.
Like, you have so many protection stuff for like blue with the counterspell and stuff. Is like, this is red's protection. Like, red doesn't have many protection spells. This was when we did the red protection episode. This is the best one, and then it's a huge drop off after that. Right. And so
and also, like, I feel like it's weird when, because I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago when we were talking about adding. I was just kind of like, I don't like adding protection to this list.
Yeah.
Like, then I feel like the good ones are just all very game changing. Then, if that's the case, like, we should be adding Heroic Intervention onto this list. We should be doing Galadriel's Dismissal. We should be doing, like, how big is that list of protection when really all you're trying to do is protect your stuff?
Right.
Like, and then, well, if protecting your stuff is game changing, isn't a Wrath effect game changing? Like, are we going to say that Wrath should Toxic Deluge be on this list? Should Wrath of God be on this list? What? So I think this is a big problem of what are the parameters, and are they similar to what it is to like banning cards?
Yeah.
So we're kind of like, if it's played so much within this color, does that make it a game changer? I don't know if I would agree with that concept.
Yeah, because I mean, with this one, like, when it gets played, you aren't like, it's not changing the game. It's just redirecting stuff. Like, it's just protected one time. Like, yeah, it's free.
It's very limited. If somebody's doing a Wrath, it's not going to save your guy.
Yeah.
It's spot removal, and really, we might be playing it differently, as in just protecting your stuff. And if you're trying to just go, hey, if you cast this, I'll redirect it to that, da-da-da. Like, maybe that's happening more than we think it is. But to me, it's to protect your stuff, and then you get to remove somebody else's thing with that removal spell, if applicable. So this one is a head-scratcher, for sure.
Yeah, this is probably the least that I feel like should be on this list. Then we get a couple of, how they put it is the tutor package, which I can understand. Gamble, Worldly Tutor, and Crop Rotation was interesting, but it's mainly for the Gaia's Cradle type of thing because you can get any land. So I get why they had the tutor package before, so I was wondering why Worldly Tutor wasn't on there, because we got all the other tutors, and Gamble is Red's way of doing it. So
I mean, me and you both agree that Gamble's like the worst one. Also, being a sorcery seems not that crazy, but also it might be being used differently than how we would use it. Like, it's just not something that we don't tutor, so we don't do that a whole ton.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's good.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure it's a tutor. It's a cheap tutor.
Then one that we talked about that we thought would make this game changer list was Seedborn Muse. Like, this is just, it is a game changer if this is out.
Agreed.
It just isn't, it doesn't have that big boogeyman feel to it unless you know that, like, most people know what it does, but I feel like you have to play with it and realize, oh, I'm getting this big advantage, because it doesn't feel like it's doing a lot when somebody else has it. You don't realize how much value they're getting out of it. But man, this is such a good card. Like, I had it in my Felithar deck, and it does work. Being able to do his ability every single turn, it's just crazy. So yeah, this it makes sense. We had that both on our honorable mentions when we talked about it. No,
I think I had it on my list.
You picked it outright.
And you had it on your background list.
Yep,
for sure.
Yep. So totally makes sense there. All right, next one. And did you have anything else you want to say about Seedborn?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah,
why don't you talk about this one a little bit?
Natural order. I mean, paying for sacrificing a green creature to go get a green creature and put it directly into play that's really good. When you're tutoring like that, and if we have these other tutors that are on the list, it makes a ton of sense for natural order to be on this list.
Yep. Food Chain is a very combo card. Makes sense. A lot of times you see that it's very combo-y. Was there anything else with Food Chain you want to talk about?
No, it's essentially a combo card, and that's what it's there for.
That's why we don't ever play it, because I don't have any. Aura Shards, I think I had that as a background one. I think I wrote Aura Shards somewhere. Maybe I didn't. Or did you mention it?
I've thought of it's one of those cards that I play less because I know it can take over a game.
Yeah, I play
on the card unless I'm like, I have no removal for this. I need a really good one.
Yeah.
That's the only way it makes it into my green-white decks.
Then we got Field of the Dead, which I think we mentioned, but it wasn't on our list necessarily. I think we just talked about it afterwards. I think you brought it up, actually. So that one makes sense, I guess. It gets kind of crazy when Field of the Dead. I've seen it go crazy, so
yeah,
I could see that one being on there. And then our last one, which is a pretty damn expensive card, but Mishra's Workshop, being able to give you 3.
Tapping for 3 mana for artifact spells. Yeah, there's 1,000 plus.
Yeah.
I've only seen this with Bill from Woodbury.
Oh, like good for you. I'll give you that, Bill.
Oh, good for you. But it was fun to see too. Like, it's okay to see it a little bit. I totally get it. You know, if Ancient Tomb's going to be on there, technically this should be on there too. So if we're looking at this and we go, most people have never seen that in the game whatsoever. Like, it's just so rare. But if it's really good, we know that it should probably be on the game-changing list.
Yeah.
So going back to RoboCop's comment of they're adding too much to the game-changer list.
Oh, wait, really quick before we get to that. We get 2 removed. So we did get Trouble in Pairs, which we thought they should have removed. They should not have been on there in the first place.
I missed that part.
Yeah, so Trouble in Pairs got removed, and Trinisphere got removed from the game-changer list. So those are regular whatever. But I totally agree with Trouble in Pairs. That was one of the things we talked about when we initially had the reveal of the Game Changer list. We were like, why the fuck is Trouble in Pairs in there? So I'm glad they took that off. All right, so back to RoboCop's comment and what you were saying, that they're adding too much. Yeah,
so they're adding too much to the Game Changer list. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah. If they're going to do as much as they're adding, then a couple things need to change. Let's pull up the bracket system here.
Yeah.
I think the number of having 3 game changers or whatever needs to change, because it needs to go up. If you're going to add more cards, then this definitely needs to go up from 3. Like, if you're going to be a 3, all my decks are going to be 4, no matter what. They're going to be 4 because I have at least 3 game changers in those decks. And maybe you're saying, well, then maybe you cut back on them. But it's like, I don't know. It feels like to me that all we're doing now is going everybody's power level 7. Like, this is what it feels like to me. Is like every deck. What deck are you playing? Well, I'm in a bracket 4. You know, and I mean maybe that's just our group.
It definitely could be just our group, right? So we have just kind of like a blind spot bias, as in this is what we're doing. You know, I agree though. I agree. There to me on the game changer list, there is a clear difference between cards that are just really, really good, and they're good everywhere, and they are literal game changers. And then there are ones that are like, that's okay. This is definitely a lower
Game
version
changer.
of a good card.
Right.
A game changer. Like, it's a game changer. But again, what is the concept of it, and why we don't have any game winners on there, which are literal game game enders.
Yeah, right.
There is not a single game. There is not a Torment of Hailfire, Craterhoof Behemoth, there, Moonshaker Cavalier. Like, those cards aren't on there. But you know, again, when you're comparison, like, but Teferi's Protection is on there. Like, that just doesn't end the game. It's the best fog that there is.
Yeah.
But we're saying that Torment of Hailfire is okay in section 1 and 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
That would wreck.
Teferi's Protection isn't.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in a game of 1 or 2, in tier 1 or 2, like, I just...
A Teferi's Protection wouldn't be affecting the game that much for like anybody playing that in a tier 1 or 2. What you're saying there is Torment of Hailfire is going to kill almost every single time tier 1 or it's going to hinder, or, you know, at least board wipe everything of everybody else's, or no hand or kill or whatever. Like, that's a huge game changer.
It's literally it's a game ender and or changer. Like, even if you don't kill the table, you've already won.
Yeah.
And they just don't know it.
Yeah.
And so, like, so what are we doing here? That's my question. And the way I see it is, it's like, are we saying that the only difference between tier 1 and 2 and 3 is 3 cards that are considered game changers, which is a widening list of less and less really good cards? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus, like, in 4 and 5, the only difference that we could really tell was you're caring about the meta.
Right.
And there's a big difference. Again, what we're doing is we might have 4 or 5 game changers in there now because of the expanded list, and we might have to change it. But essentially what we're saying between 1 and 2 is 0 game changers. And this is what you were saying. You got to up it for 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and 3 cards in tier 3. And then 4 and 5, you can have as many game changers as you want.
It seems like
we're literally talking about 3 different cards between the 3 tiers, and that's about it.
And that's kind of what our argument was in the beginning when we had the 5 different. And actually, if you look at Gavin's, I watched his video before we got on and did this. He hints at tier 1 might not be there anymore. Like, he's like, there really isn't that big of a difference between 1 and 2. And they've gotten a lot of comments on it. He's like, for now, we're going to keep it there, but this branch might be going. But I think you have a good point that I think 4 and 5 are too similar in that I think that 4 should have a limit, but the limit should be like a really big number, or at least 3 is, you know, raise all the numbers up a little bit. You know, like maybe bracket 3 is, I don't know what feels right. 5, 6 game changers.
Right.
It just depends on how many you keep adding. If you keep adding, then all it's going to do is make everybody's deck move into everything below CEDH.
I think there's a huge difference between what we are doing, which is 4 or 5 game changers, essentially, like 3 to 5, and what CEDH is doing. CEDH should kind of be its own thing.
Yeah.
We should not be in CEDH.
Yeah.
But we're definitely not casual.
Right.
And so, like, so to me, 1 and 2 should be combined, and 4 and 5 should be combined. And like I was saying before, it should be essentially people that are trying to have fun, tryhards like us, and people that are trying way too hard.
Yeah.
Like, and that's all of it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so, like, if we were just saying, like, 1 and 2, you just don't have any game changers, you don't have any extra turns, you don't have
tutors, you don't have
tutors, that all of that's okay.
No infinite combos.
And then 2 or 3, you know, tier 3 currently should probably just have X amount of game changers if it's going to be a super wide list.
Right.
And so, okay, my main point is is the game changer list here to say this is really good and you're playing this for CEDH, and if you're playing a bunch of these, it puts you into CEDH? Or is it saying we don't want these cards with new people in tier 1 and 2? Which, so one is we're playing really good cards and this is high grade Magic, and the other is these are too good for new players. There is a huge gap in there.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're going towards, we don't want these in tier 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's okay, but then the middle has to change the metrics, like we're saying.
It can't be just 3. That's just...
and so it's just basically saying you cannot play these with newer or super casual players, and that's okay.
Right.
But again, the middle has to be better represented other than we get 3 cards to play with.
Right. Well, okay. So that being said, we both have been building decks. I built Felithar. I'm building Ashaya. Are you even looking at the game changers of what you're putting in? Because I haven't changed anything. All that matters to me is the ban list. Is all that has done with me. Now again, that's our meta with stuff, but I do see that it has the little symbol on Mox Field when I'm building it. That is a game changer, but I'm not like, okay, how many do I have? I got to make sure to stay in that range. I'm just, to me, it's ban lists. That's where I'm at. It's like, okay, what's banned and what's not banned. And right now, game changers don't matter. But that's, again, we're biased with that we don't go to an LGS and play and say the brackets. That's what I'd be interested. Maybe we should have picked number 2's brain a little bit more because he does go to the LGS a little bit more. And Alex said that he has.
I kind of talked with him, and he's, he basically was saying that Rule 0 is the most important part still. So it's like being open with what you brought and just making it's still really important to have the Rule 0 conversation. Because I think me and you have had this conversation before as well. Like, you put a deck of tier 1 or 2 in our hands versus people that don't know what they're doing, and it's going to still be a slaughter.
Yeah.
Like, we've been doing this for a decade plus. We probably just know more on rules interactions, how a deck is played. And not saying that if you just hand us a deck, but if we get to play it once or twice or look through the deck and know what's going on, we'll more than likely do better than a lot of people.
Right.
And so
it's a piloting
kind of
thing.
Like that's really hard to bring in. Like, you can go, this is a tier 2 deck, but I've been playing for 15 years. Like, I built this, I know what's going on. It's probably a 3. You know what I mean? Like, just in my hands.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about, like, we know that we're not CEDH, but we know that we can, our decks being built could be really, really brutal as well.
Right.
And so, like, we back it off. We make sure, again, that's why we have those restrictions on us. And that's a little bit of the frustrating part on that regard, because we don't combo. Or very little combo,
Right.
We don't tutor or very little tutor.
No counters.
We don't do extra turns ever.
We don't counter typically.
We don't counter spell, and we're still getting put into the tier 4-5, which seems wrong. It's just inaccurate, right?
Right. Because if we go against a pure, well, obviously 5, but a 4 that follows everything, like, we probably get destroyed if they're trying to do like CEDH type of things. It doesn't matter what deck, because they're gonna have the tutors, they're gonna have the counter, they're gonna have all that stuff.
We don't have a way to stop combo players.
Yeah.
We don't have a way to go off like combo player. Like, we aren't that.
Yeah,
we very clearly aren't that.
We purposely handcuff so we don't have that kind of thing. So
are all the free counter spells on the game changer list?
We didn't get any of the ones that we mentioned.
Well, I'm just like, I don't remember the original list. So it's like Force of Will on the list.
Yeah, but we didn't get Force of Negation.
Yeah, so Force of Negation isn't there. So there's still, I mean,
and
it's
Mana
just
Drain.
Like, I think they're still trying to figure out where they want things to be.
Yeah.
And because I think we agree that Rhystic Study very much should be on that list. Cyclonic Rift very much should be on that list. And then when you start, like, anything that's really good in CEDH and has potential to, like, be banned there should be a game changer anywhere.
Right.
Demonic Consultation likely should not be in a tier 2 deck. That's essentially a tutor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's high tier magic that you're playing right there. And so I think initially I was like, Necropotence should be on that list. You know, and now it's there, and I very much agree that it should be there. Anything that can really change the mana and the drawing in a game should be considered. And then outside of that, I don't know how much I care.
Right.
So like the protection stuff,
yeah,
I don't. Even though Teferi's protection is really, really, really good, I don't think anybody in tier 2 is having problems with it, other than they see it a lot.
Right.
And I don't think that should be, just because it's being seen a lot and played a lot, I don't think that makes it problematic.
Right. No, I agree. I completely agree. Yeah. You said something to me this weekend. Did you hear somebody say that they think fetches should be on?
Oh, that was nobody official. Just there was
a joke type thing or something.
No, it was a hot take. So somebody was at
right.
like an LGS, and they're like, "What's your hot take?" And they're like, "I think fetches should be banned because when you're playing fetches, it's turn 1 into a surveil land every time, and that's too much value." And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like how?
It is what I do, though.
Are we just not going? We want to ban almost all the cards.
It's so ridiculous.
What we're trying to do? Like, again, I don't know if we're in the minority or the majority of anything, but I think what you should be doing, Wizards, listen, is you shorten the game changer list of what's happening right now. And then game changers are essentially what CEDH is doing and just putting you there. So you're making it a really tight list. And then you can unban some fucking cards and still make them game changers.
Yeah.
And then you're really opening up CEDH from everybody else.
Then it's a very different game. Yeah, I think
that you're right. And so that's
what I was hoping originally when we talked about it, was that they had an open ban, like basically anything below CEDH, they had a different list that you could play with these cards, but no one else can play with these. I don't know if it seems like they're going to be hooked on this game changer thing and not do that.
Right.
But
and so I have a feeling what they're doing is we don't want these cards in tier 2 or tier 1 and 2. And that's going to make a really big list. Because there's a lot of cards that shouldn't be there.
Right.
And the other thing that I kind of messed up, and somebody made a comment in it when we were doing the game changers, and I said Blood Moon, and they said it would never be a game changer because it's mana denial, which is MLD. I always see that as mass land destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And so mass land denial is actually in there. So your Blood Moons are already on that list. Your static orbs and all that stuff that doesn't allow things on tap properly, that's already on the list that would not be in tier 2. Makes a ton of sense.
Oh, okay.
So, but it doesn't have those designations on Mox Field or anything
right.
that I've seen yet, but I'm not using those anyway, so it hasn't popped up.
Gotcha.
So those are already there. So the next question is do we make a list of game winners? Kind of like what we were talking about. We've talked about it.
The Skull, he said, honestly, the new ban list should definitely ban more extra dark monster. Wait a minute. This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Why am I here?
I do not know. So it's just they're connected. Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Of course. You guys got a cartoon. That beats us.
Yep, right there.
Already.
I love that cartoon. Freaking loved it.
So that's I think it's going the opposite direction of what me and you would prefer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's okay, I guess. I just hope that they adjust the middle part for more game changers.
And they said they aren't going to do any more unbans or bans of 2025 unless something new comes out is the only way. Like if there's like a Nadu type of thing that happens again. And then one thing I did want to mention, I forgot this, is they didn't unban. They do mention this specifically is Dockside, Jeweled Lotus, and Monocrypt. We had a little discussion on Discord. Renshai was part of that too, where he's just like, oh, they shouldn't, whatever. I get they didn't do it, and it makes sense those were the controversial things. That's what started this whole thing. There were some nasty things that happened between people and rules committee people and all that. So I get why they didn't do it here. But what he did say is out of the three, the one that I thought would be the most likely to be unbanned, Jeweled Lotus, is at some point probably going to get the unban. Didn't say it's going to happen anytime soon, but he did. I do want to put that out there. He's not saying it's happening this year, but maybe down the road. That is the one of the three. The other two, so. The video, I can maybe get the link in the description at some point after we get done here. People wanted to watch that. It kind of goes over each card that is on the ban list and what their chances are of coming out. It doesn't give like a percentage. It's just like likely, unlikely. Like Primeval Titan was another one that he talked about. Said that one's a potential in the future, but that might be how you're saying, where they switch CEDH around and make it specifically these cards only can be at tier 5 or whatever. So I think I would like that.
I want to respond to Scott here in the comments too. Like I do see what you're saying when you're saying that they're trying to separate 3 and 4. And when it comes to our special rules, like I understand that it's not really working. It's not what we're doing, even though what we're doing is very similar to what the idea of what's going on. It's just not fitting perfectly, which is fine. But I guess my question ends up being is, are we saying the difference between tier 1 and 2 and 3 is 3 cards in your deck? Like that percentage of what you're going to be drawing within your deck is 5%? Like that improves your deck by 5%, maybe? And you got to draw it? Like I just, no, I know, Scott. And so my thing is that there's 100 cards, and we know that 50 of them are going to be coming within land and ramp, essentially. And we know that a lot of the fast ramp has already been put on the game changer. And I think that's rightfully so. Like that changes what's going on within a game. The problem ends up being what is the difference between, are we literally saying that tier 3 or the middle has there's only 3 cards to play with, essentially?
You mean 3
versus tier 1, 2, and 4 and 5. There is a 3 card gap in between the two. Like I just, that is a really narrow middle ground between casual and CEDH. Maybe that's probably the better way for me to put it, as in it's just a really narrow middle where I think most of us fit.
Right. Where we should, but we have been bumped up because of all the stuff added in there. Yes.
And so I think there needs to be more room for the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all I'm kind of saying. Like I get CEDH exists, I get casual exists, but I don't know why not CEDH and not casual only gets 3 cards to play with.
Yeah.
That's where my bit is. And again, it changes if it's a tighter game changer list, and it changes if they up the amount of game changers that you can have in the list.
Yeah. So we went from 8. Well, we have 18 added on. 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we basically almost doubled. I mean, not quite double. It was about 20. So we added like 50% more to the game changer list.
Okay.
Is what we did there, which is a lot. And if they do that every single time, they're not going to. Not. But if you keep adding stuff like that, it's just, maybe what it is that I think they're going to eliminate 1, and I think 2 is going to be by itself. I think 3 gets... I'm fine with 3 if you add up a couple more cards, and then 4 either doing like make it so there is a difference between 4 and 5. Like it just seems like there's no difference between these two. We talked about that before. I know it's about like you're saying you're in CDH, whether you're not saying it. That's kind of where we fit in 4. But yeah, I mean, I'm just reiterating the same thing.
I think going to 3 really would simplify. It's just going, are you playing casual because you're not going to play these cards? And then are you CEDH? You get to do whatever you want. And if you are
I think 3 levels
in the middle, these are the restraints.
Right.
And I think it needs to be a little bit wider. We know the bottom is casual. We know that we don't want these game changers. Like, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know why they added in how many extra turn spells you have in a deck. Like, just make them a game changer.
Right. Yeah, that's a good
Just
point.
make them a game changing card. Widen that out, and don't force it there. Because if it's a game changing card, it can't be in tier 1 or 2 anyway.
Yeah.
So, and then if you have X amount of extra turn spells in your deck, you're up to CEDH already.
Yeah.
Like, so that the number I think needs to be figured out for game changers within the middle crew. So, and maybe we were the problem, but this is not solving the problem for the middle.
Yeah.
I guess it's allowing CEDH to do their thing. I don't think there's any complaints over there for the CEDH.
Yeah, I think they're loving it.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any problem when it comes to the casual side. I think they're getting everything that they kind of want, other than maybe they're not able to play with the more powerful cards that they want to play with.
But so I guess what I'm gonna kind of piggyback on is you have the CEDH figured out, you have the casual figured out, but the majority of Magic players, that's why that joke is my deck is a power 7. The majority is not figured out. Like, the thing that you should be figuring out, tweaking the most, is the thing that isn't. The other ends are figured out, but not the middle.
Right.
And so that just seems kind of funny and maybe that's why it's more difficult to figure out, because that's a big group. It's a big group of people that have varying decks, but not by much, but they have varying decks. And so how do you distinguish
and
that?
So, I mean, the other thing, even though in my mind, it goes 1, 2, 3 versus a 1 through 5, but it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 1 as in encompassing 1 and 2, and 4 and 5 is the 4, and then 2 and 3 get to be, I'm casually trying with some game changers, which is maybe this, like having 3 in there, versus having more, which would be a 3. So, like what was it called? Upper power or whatever. So it's just, we're trying a little bit harder than 3 if we're having a really wide, because we could go through our list and add a lot. We could add way more game changers to this list. Again, there is no game enders on this list almost at all, and that can be a ton of different cards. Yeah. So
I mean, you already mentioned that. That's not a game. Well, Tormented Hailfire, which was that was my top pick that I thought would make it in this.
Right.
It's not even there. And they even gave the excuse to Craterhoof and Finale of Devastation. And they didn't say anything about Triumph of the Hordes, but
right. And so we're saying that Craterhoof Behemoth can be in tier 1 or 2, which just seems weird that the red deflecting SWAT can't be.
Right.
So it's just kind of like weird.
Yeah.
I guess. So I'm not saying that they're wrong. I think they're still working on it, and they still have some kinks to work out.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad they're working. Yeah, like we're getting changes, like things they're polling people, seeing what's working, what's not. I agree with you. I think we need to eliminate one of the branches, is what they said. Get rid of 1. And I think 4 is a good number. 3 also I think would work too. I think, but some people want to be more specific with their decks. So I can see having 2 in the above casual and then having CEDH. So But then I'd be fine with adding more. If you adjust those numbers of that, I'd be fine with adding more stuff to the game changer list.
Right. Because again, if we're trying to protect the people that are casual, new, that just don't want to, then that's okay to have a wide list, but then you got to make sure that the middle is being protected as well.
Yep.
So that I got everything off my chest. I'm good.
Yep. And I mentioned already before that I think our decks, a lot of them would fall into 4, but with handcuffing our no tutors, no counterspells, no combos, what else don't we do? We do a lot of no infinite combos, whatever. I think it brings us back down to a 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you follow the whatever, but it is what it is, I guess. We'll see.
Right.
We'll probably get. They said no unbans, but that doesn't mean they won't change the brackets. They just said the ban stuff isn't gonna happen.
Yeah. They also didn't say that they wouldn't add game changers either. Right. They just said no bans or unbans.
Yep. So yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys like how everything's done, what you would do differently, I guess, with the brackets. How many would you put in game changers if you did 3 and a 4? Maybe add a limit to 4, because I just don't like. I don't want to keep going into it. 4 and 5 seem so similar, and 1 and 2 seem so similar. It just seems so repetitive of those two. So let's. I feel like there needs to be.
We could easily be 4 if there was a better definition as well.
Yeah,
because it's essentially CEDH without the meta,
right?
And that's not what's really going on there.
So, all right. But yeah, all right. Let's get into the.
I like the 1 through 10 system of where everybody's just a 7.
It'll be a 7.
Easier.
7. All right. All right. So we got our tournament. This is gonna be the last little part here. We aren't doing stump tonight because we had the secret layer pop in there. So now I'm actually gonna show. Oh, I kind of gave it away. We are doing. It's not Magic related, but it is our best theme song tournament. For opening theme songs to TV shows from whenever. So we drafted 64 of them. We are getting to the Sweet 16 here. So I'm going to go over each one of these, and Larry, you're going to guess, and then we'll go over the matchups for next week. And so the voting will start after the cast. So I think voting will get up tomorrow. So, okay, first matchup, working from the bottom up. So the first one was Fresh Prince against Inspector Gadget.
Fresh Prince should kill on this one.
Yeah, we got 74% of the vote went to Fresh Prince. The next one is Scooby-Doo against X-Files.
I think Scooby-Doo maybe by 10%, like 60-40.
Scooby-Doo did take it with 74% as well. So we have a matchup of Scooby-Doo versus Fresh Prince. That's gonna be a battle.
That'll be a good one.
I think I lean Fresh Prince.
I think I do too.
But I did love Scooby-Doo, man. I did love that.
I'd have to, yeah.
All right, the Battle of the Ducks was Darkwing Duck against DuckTales.
I think DuckTales took that.
Yeah, it destroyed with 89% of the votes.
Wow.
Then we got Ninja Turtles against Tailspin.
Ninja Turtles took this one.
Biggest win of the week at 96% of the votes went to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The payback because Batman lost last week.
Ninja Turtles against DuckTales. That's going to be a good one.
That'll be a good one. That'll be a really good one. I would TMNT, but
probably, yeah.
We'll see where that goes.
That's probably where I lean on that. Then we had South Park versus That 70s Show.
I mean, I'm going South Park personally.
Yeah, South Park wins at 71% of the votes.
Because I had to go look up the 70s Show and be like, oh yeah, that's right. I mean, it's a fun one, but
South Park,
it's not iconic like South Park.
SpongeBob versus Sesame Street.
I don't know. Like, it just depends on who's voting, I guess, or like what age bracket.
Yeah.
I would guess that SpongeBob won this one.
Yep, with 65%. So it's a little closer. 65% of the vote for SpongeBob. Yeah. So we got SpongeBob versus South Park. Probably South Park, I'm guessing, is going to win that.
That's going to be a good one too. I think we're getting down to the brass tacks here. Yeah. That'll be a good one.
All right, then we had Chippendale versus Gargoyles.
I mean, in my mind, it's Chippendale.
Well, in your mind, you are correct. 69% of the votes. Oh, yeah. They move on. But we have Game of Thrones versus Cheers.
Oh, Game of Thrones should win this one.
Game of Thrones wins with 63%, so that's a little closer. So we have Game of Thrones
closer
against...
than I would have thought, though.
Game of Thrones against Chippendale. So that's going to be... that's going to be a tough one, though. I would vote Game of Thrones, obviously, but...
I probably would, too.
Is it's a catchy one there. All right, then we got the bottom of the other side. So we had Muppet Show against Reading Rainbow. Up until a couple hours ago, this one was at 50%. So this is our closest battle of the week.
Where do you think? Be mad at Tad? Is that what's going to happen?
I don't know. Which one do you think won?
Muppet Show. I'm going with that.
Muppets did take it, 52% of the votes. So Muppet Show is moving on. Then we had Friends versus.
It has the smallest margin of victory at like 7% total.
No, 2% because it won 50% last week.
But the last, it was 50%.
Yeah, remember
time,
it was,
it?
Yeah, because it was a higher seed. I almost had to do that again here.
That's stupid.
Then we had Friends versus Ted Lasso.
What was the first one?
Friends
versus Friends. Probably wins that.
79%.
Just more known.
And so it's Friends against Muppet Show. I think Friends will take the Muppet Show down.
I think Friends takes that
I think
as well,
Muppet Show's run is going to be over. Then we had Family Guy versus Mr. Rogers.
I hope Mr. Rogers wins.
Well, it didn't. Because Family Guy took out Mr. Rogers. Yeah, Family Guy.
A jerk.
But then we had Simpsons versus Full House.
Well, Simpsons should win that one.
It did with 85% of the vote. So the whole bottom bracket is all my picks, by the way. You just got all yours eliminated with Full House and Mr. Rogers there. So that's a semifinal, right? Or finals automatic on that side. Or no, semifinal automatic.
Okay.
All right. Then we have Pokemon versus SNL.
Pokemon probably wins that.
Pokemon does with 79% of the votes.
Yeah.
Animaniacs versus Sopranos.
Animaniacs should take that.
It does with 80.
I know that's going to make people mad, but Animaniacs takes that.
84%. No, that was a majority there. So it's Pokemon against Animaniacs. Woo-hoo. I think I'm leaning Pokemon on that. Because that gets.
Animaniacs is a better song.
It is a good song, but
it's a legit
Pokemon.
song.
Pokemon, man.
Pokemon just has so much power that I can see it overthrowing that.
Ghostbusters versus Power Rangers. This was the second closest of the week.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I would have put Ghostbusters like head and shoulders above it.
Well, you'd be right, but it's not head and shoulders. It's 56% of the vote.
Yeah.
And then X-Men versus Stranger Things.
X-Men should kill.
It did. 88% of the votes. Wah, wah. I mean, I voted for X-Men too, but I like Stranger Things. I actually voted twice, and I voted one for X-Men and one for Stranger Things. So we got X-Men versus Ghostbusters.
I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry, Stranger Things.
Ghostbusters versus X-Men. Which one takes that down? That's going to be Ghostbusters. X-Men.
I mean, for me, it's X-Men.
Yeah,
it's
going to be X-Men for sure. So, all right, that is the Sweet 16. Should get those voting matchups tomorrow.
I think it's getting hot, though.
Yeah,
it's getting real spicy.
We're going to have some good ones. So,
yeah.
All right, buddy. I think that's it. That was a pretty good length of cast there. So, I think that'll do it. Is there anything else? Nothing? Getting to the end.
No,
all right. All right, gang. That should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
I love boobs. I'm talking tatas. I love boobs. I'm bonkers for honkers. I love boobs. Thanks for the memories. I love boobs.
Hey gang, the best way to support the CommanderSmiths is make sure you slap that like button. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel. Also, check out our online store, CommanderSmiths.com, where we have metal tokens, mugs, t-shirts, playmats,